The charity Classical Music Rocks is dedicated to giving children the opportunity of hearing live classical music by bringing world-class musicians into their schools. The organisation is generously sponsored by the Postcode Places Trust, a brilliant UK charity.
Today we are talking to Klio Blonz, who is their creative director, as well as being one of their very talented musicians.
Hello, Klio.
Hello, Lucy, and hello, Julie.
Hello, thank you for joining us.
Please tell us what instrument you play and what appeals to you most about this instrument.
Well, I play the flute. I never really thought about exactly what appeals to me. I just remember listening to it when I was a child, and I didn't even know what it was. And I just told my dad that's what I want to learn. But if I think about it, I guess it's the sense of breathing. It's very intimate and it's very personal, and giving your breath into something and creating images and sounds. I think that's what it is.
When and why did you move to the UK?
I moved to the UK in 2000. I was in France before that, where I studied. And then my brother was studying in the UK. And he said, come over, do an extra degree or whatever. So I applied for a music college here and just did an extra year.
We understand you had an important role at the Blackheath Conservatoire of Music in South East London. What did you do?
I've been teaching the flute for many years, and I got really surprised at how difficult some of my students will find to keep a steady beat, understand the concept of rhythm. And I really wanted to understand why and how I can help change that. So I went to the source and I realized that everything starts as babies and as very young children. So I did some extra courses on early years music education, and I started observing some teachers at the conservatoire, and little by little they gave me more responsibility. So throughout the years I started managing the whole early years team. I had some ideas as well of creating concerts for children, but not just the normal concerts, but they were story-based, so that children they had that experience of that first experience of classical music through stories, because a child, it's quite hard to just give them to hear listen to classical music, but when there is a story behind, suddenly it becomes more approachable and there is a bridge between the two.
How did you become involved in Classical Music Rocks?
Oh, that's a quite funny story. I had a concert with the harpist I used to work with. It was in Norfolk for King's Lynn Music Society. Out of the blue, I get this email from this gentleman called Peter Barker. And he's asked me, I visited your website, so you're playing in this concert. Would you like to work for me? And my reply was, what? I mean, seriously, you want me to work for you? You haven't even listened to us yet? So that's not good. So you come and listen, and then we can discuss again. And of course, Peter came, and I think he liked it, because then he asked us to start working. And I guess the rest is history.
What does the role of creative director for CMR involve?
It's mainly discussing with Peter the program, coming with ideas. For example, during the pandemic, we went to Zoom, so I created the first pilot session with Zooming. So I came up with ideas of how we can make Zoom work and make it more interactive through sharing the screen, sharing works of art rather than just playing, because it couldn't be just the same kind of visit as it would be with a face-to-face. Because I also studied history of art and art in France, I really like to bring these two arts together. So I shared lots of artworks with children that related to music. So that was one of the things. Then discussing concerts, revising documents, advising each other, and developing CMR.
What do you enjoy most about working for CMR?
I really, really love working with children, and when I am with them, it's just beautiful. The purity that comes out from them, the curiosity, the wisdom, the goodness, it's just, I couldn't have it any other way. And I think it's the hardest audience, because when you're with a child, you have immediately to adapt to see how they feel. You have to capture their moods and adapt your program, adapt your approach, and you have to become like them.
How do you see the classical music scene in the UK Is it going in the right direction for children?
I think in London there are lots of things for children. There are lots of outreach programs and so on. But I have the feeling when I researched a bit that Classical Music Rocks is a quite unique organization. Again, in London, I do see loads of young children and people in concerts. However, what I hear from Peter, who is the chair of Classical Music Rocks, he does say there are very, very few children in concerts, and this has really to change because, if nothing else, this is the audience of tomorrow. So we don't want to end up not having any audience. So it's very, very important. And it's not just about children who are really good at an instrument. It's just really simply inspiring them to listen to classical music. It's really not about the talented or the gifted. It's really open the horizons because it's just, it's magical. It transports them to amazing places, which I don't think any other art can do so directly.
Thank you so much for joining us. If you'd like to find out more about Classical Music Rocks, please see the links in our description below.